At what point in history did a doctor become more than a trusted and learned friend who visited and treated the ill? Now, you ask me if I've been practicing medicine. Well, if this means opening your door to those in need, those in pain, caring for them, listening to them, applying a cold cloth until a fever breaks, if this is practicing medicine, if this is treating a patient, then I am guilty as charged, sir.
Is my nose red? Oh, it is.
It's red.
What's that? You don't know?
I don't either.
Let's find out.
Taxi!
Try on you.
It's working very well.
A doctor's mission should be not just to prevent death, but also to improve the quality of life. That's why you treat a disease, you win, you lose. You treat a person, I guarantee you'll win, no matter what the other.
Hi. Mind if I sit up?
Hello, McLean. Hello.
Oh, look out.
What is going on here?
What do you think of music?
My heart belongs to music. I love it.
Have you ever had music just hit you in a place that immediately brought you to tears? Music has that power.
Music connects people with who they have been, who they are in their lives. Because what happens when you get old is all the things you're familiar with and your identity are all just being peeled away.
We're gonna do your medicine now.
Our healthcare system imagines the human to be a very complicated machine. We have medicines that can adjust the dials. Blood pressure, oh, turn that down. Blood sugar, oh, turn that down. We haven't done anything to touch the heart and soul of a patient.
One resident that barely opened her eyes, she didn't respond. Knew her for 2 years. Once we put the iPod on her, she started shaking her feet. She started moving her head. It was amazing.
Music has more ability to activate more parts of the brain than any other stimulus.
Who am I? Huh? Who am I? I'm your daughter.
By exciting or awakening those pathways, we have a gateway to stimulate and reach somebody who otherwise is unreachable.
It can't get away from me if I'm in this place.
It takes me back to my school days. Oh, God, that's beautiful.
Does it make you happy to sing for us?
Yeah. I'm crying.
Every human being needs stimulation from the outside, from little babies to old people.
American culture is wrong. There is actually life beyond adulthood. There's the opportunity to live and grow and become elders. The aging that we experience holds in it very important learnings and lessons.
There is no pill that does that.
Excuse me.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, so there's a tears of joy.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to grow.
Where go? First off, we'll need to have the room wired with emergency power in case there's an electrical failure. Then we'll need 2 of everything, 2 anesthesia monitors, 2 heart-lung machines, enough people on each team to cover both babies. We'll need an anesthesiology team, a team of cardiac surgeons, a team of plastic surgeons, a team of neurosurgeons, and we'll need to figure out how to fit all 50 of us into one operating room. Each team must rehearse their respective procedures step by step, and each team must develop scenarios for the worst possible things that could happen. If one baby dies, we need to separate him as fast as possible and give all shared tissue to the surviving twin. Cardiothoracic will start their procedures at 6 a.m. Hello again, Peter, Augusta. Welcome to Johns Hopkins. Your son's blood vessels are like tiny faucets with only so much blood to lose. Now, if we can turn off the faucets, we can keep your sons from bleeding. The only way to do this is to stop their hearts.
Stop there.
It's not a new procedure. It's been used by cardiovascular surgeons for years. It's just never been applied in a situation like this. Now, we can do it in infants for an hour without causing brain damage. But that hour is critical.
Why? What happens in that hour?
We'll stop their hearts, then spend that hour reconstructing all the blood vessels so that when their hearts start again, there won't be any life-threatening loss of blood.
All in 1 hour?
Which is why we've rehearsed and rehearsed, and why we need to pray.
You pray, Doctor?
Every day.
My name is Susanna Cahalan. I'm 21 years old, and here I am with my dream job at the New York Post.
Gross. Why are you smiling this early in the morning? It's unnatural and disgusting. You look ridiculous.
Susanna! You're gonna interview that creepy senator.
You'll have a Thursday night.
I know I will, because I can always count on you.
I had my whole life in front of me.
Happy birthday!
And I had absolutely no idea what was waiting for me.
Very, very late. You gotta get your ass in here. You're gonna miss the 10 o'clock meeting.
I feel really sick, you know, my head hurts, the stomach hurts, and my hands numb, and I've never felt this before.
We've tested Susanna for every infectious disease. All of the results are negative.
We're gonna get to the bottom of this together.
Her EEG is completely normal. Her MRI is normal. Her neurological exam is normal. It's all normal.
Her condition continues to regress. Manic behavior, paranoia.
Each of them is giving us a different diagnosis. One is saying bipolar, next one is saying schizophrenic, then they're saying psychotic.
We should look at hospitals that are better equipped to deal with her.
Just take the pills.
She needs all of us.
We will find the answer.
Her life is in your hands. Tell me what is wrong with my daughter.
You must be the famous Susanna.
I'm scared.
I know she's still in there. She's just trapped.
I promise you, I'm going to do everything I can to find you.
No, God, no.
Time is of the essence. You're losing her.
It all started with when I thought I had a case of bed bugs. And when I had an exterminator, he came in and said, "You don't have bed bugs." Then after that, I was feeling very tired and lethargic, and really, I just didn't want to go to work. I felt not like myself. And then I started having numbness in my hands and my feet. And at that point, I went to a neurologist who first diagnosed me with mono. After that, I started acting paranoid. I had hallucinations, and then I had a seizure. Because I literally don't remember the good part of the month that I was in the hospital, I had to rely on medical records, interviews with doctors, interviews with my family, interviews with my boyfriend. You know, pretty much I had to just recreate that time using the skills as a journalist. There's video that exists of me in the hospital, and when I watch it, it's very much, I'm watching this other Susanna, this other person that is so far divorced from who I am now. I mean, she's frightened, she's angry, she's just terrifying. And in a lot of ways, I've been trying to reconcile who that person was with who I am now, and what part of me is this kind of monstrous person. And through the course of researching this, I've come a little bit closer to understanding that other Susanna, but she's always a stranger. She's someone who I have to dig really deep outside of myself to really understand. I have to I have to ask other people. I have to read pages of medical records to get anywhere close to understanding who that person was. Towards the end, I stopped being paranoid and I stopped having these unbelievable hallucinations, and I started becoming catatonic. I hardly moved. I had no emotional register. I just kind of stared off into space. I had very rigid movement. And basically, now I know, looking back then after my research, that I was heading towards what would most likely have been a coma, and for some people, death. I was ultimately diagnosed by Dr. Suel Najjar at NYU. He was the first doctor to really sit down and see the whole picture, the bed bugs, the paranoia, the hallucination, the catatonic state. He also noticed I had high blood pressure. At one point when he visited me for the first time, he did something that no other doctor asked me to do. He asked me to draw a clock. And it's a very simple procedure. I had gone through $1 million worth of blood tests, MRIs. This is one clear step that he asked me that cost nothing. Basically, he gave me a piece of paper and asked me to draw in 1 through 12. And I drew every single one of those numbers on the right-hand side, which showed that I had inflammation in the right side of my brain. After a brain biopsy and a spinal tap, they ultimately diagnosed me with what is called anti-NMDA receptor autoimmune encephalitis.